Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Phil Novick, a teacher. His specialist subject is the series of fantasy novels, A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Chris Murphy, a carer. He'll be answering questions on the aquatic mammals, whales. Marianne Harmon, a bookseller, whose subject is the Italian climber and explorer Reinhold Messner. And Emma Carter-Brown, a higher education manager. Her specialist subject is the novelist and poet Emily Brontë. So, you think you're hard, do you? You want a piece of me? Is that why you're here? No, I'm not talking to you, dear viewer, but to our four contenders, quizzers par excellence, who believe they've got the goods on me. The answers to all my questions, the solutions to my conundrums. Well, we're going to find out if that's the case. But remember, this is the big league, where the prize of this wonderful glass bowl and the title of Mastermind Champion are up for grabs. 2 minutes on a specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge are waiting. So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Phil Novick.
Your occupation?
Teacher.
And your specialist subject?
A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin.
The series of 5 fantasy novels set primarily on the continent of Westeros, where several noble families vie for control during a dynastic civil war. In 2 minutes, let's go. King Robert Baratheon, who was crowned 15 years before the events of A Game of Thrones, has 2 younger brothers whom it's said he can barely stomach, namely Stannis and who else?
Renly.
Yes, what common name is given to the poison that Grand Maester Pycelle says was administered to King Joffrey at his own wedding feast?
A Strangler.
Yes, what's the name of the one-armed blacksmith and armourer at Castle Black who befriends the Night's Watch recruit, Jon Snow, and is said to have forged King Robert Baratheon's warhammer?
Donald Nye.
Yes. At the beginning of A Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen, an exiled princess from Westeros, is living alongside her brother Viserys in the free city of Pentos and is how many years old?
13.
Yes, the song 1000 Eyes and One was written about a former Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, sometimes known as Bloodraven. What's his real name?
Brynden Rivers?
Yes, Daenerys' first meeting with the enslaved translator Missandei, who is later granted her freedom and becomes one of the exiled princess's handmaids, takes place in which book of A Song of Ice and Fire?
Oh, The Storm of Swords.
Yes, when the Kingsguard, Jaime Lannister, is freed from his imprisonment at Riverrun and sent back to King's Landing by boat, he's accompanied south by Brienne of Tarth and which of his cousins?
Martin Lannister.
No, Cleos Frey. Which character gives her uncle, Doran Martell, the Prince of Dawn, an embroidered picture she has made of her father, Oberyn, which she claims will help him to remember his brother?
Obara Sand.
No, Tyene Sand. When Jojen and his sister Mira of House Reed arrive at Winterfell, little Walder is overheard calling them by what derogatory name, referring to their peculiar dietary habits?
Frogmen.
No, frog-eaters. After Tyrion Lannister flees King's Landing, he crosses the narrow sea to the free city of Pentos, where he first stays as the guest of which wealthy magister?
Illyrio Mopatis.
It is Illyrio Mopatis. So, Phil, at the end of that round, you had no passes, and you've got 7 points. And our next contender, please. Your name?
Chris Murphy.
Your occupation?
Carer.
And your specialist subject?
Wheels.
The massive marine mammals which, along with the dolphins and porpoises, make up the cetaceans. In 2 minutes, let's go. The name of which whale species, the largest toothed whale, is derived from that of a waxy liquid created in a special organ in its head?
A sperm whale.
Yes, whales such as the blue whale feed by filtering seawater through a system of combs in their mouth, known as baleen or whalebone, which are made from what substance?
Keratin.
Yes, the narwhal, noted for the single protruding tusks seen in males, is one of two living species in what family whose name is derived from the Greek for one tooth?
Monoceros.
No, Monodontidae. The critically endangered baleen whale species known as Rice's whale is native exclusively to which large gulf?
The Gulf of Mexico.
Yes, the three whale species in the genus Eubelina, which unusually have no dorsal fins or ridges on their backs, are known collectively by what common name?
Rorquals.
No, right whales, which species, named after a secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, is the largest of the beaked whales, with a typical body length of around 36 feet for females and 35 feet for males.
Baird's beaked whales.
Yes, what name, after a feature of the human body, is given to the series of 6 to 12 small bumps along the back of a grey whale between its hump and its tail?
Pass.
Which whale species is sometimes known as the dwarf fin whale because, like the much larger fin whale, it has an asymmetrical colour pattern, with the left side of its jaw being much darker than the right side?
Sei whale?
No, Amura's whale, what name introduced by William Watkins and William Sheville in 1977, is given to the short sequences of clicks that make up an intricate communication system used by sperm whales?
Echolocation?
No, coders. What name for a certain species of whale is derived from the Norwegian word for the pollock fish, which is commonly seen around the Norwegian coast at around the same time of year as the whale itself?
Minke?
No, sei whale. Which family of whales includes the dwarf and pygmy sperm whales, which have characteristic false gill slits behind their eyes and are able to squirt an ink-like substance from an intestinal sac to deter predators?
Pass.
It's the coged. And the only other pass, the name after a feature of the human body given to the bumps along the back of a grey whale. Knuckles. And at the end of that round, you've got 4 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Marianne Harmon.
Your occupation?
Bookseller.
Your specialist subject?
Reinhold Messner.
The Italian climber and explorer who's made record-breaking ascents of many of the world's highest mountains. In 2 minutes, let's go. In 1978, Reinhold Messner and which fellow climber became the first to reach the summit of Mount Everest without supplementary oxygen?
Peter Harbler.
Yes, Messner was originally credited with being the first person to reach the summit of all 14 of the world's mountains over 8,000 meters, until research revealed that which peak had been historically misidentified, resulting in Messner being 5 meters short when he climbed it.
Annapurna.
Yes, in 1986, Messner was trekking across eastern Tibet when he caught sight of a shaggy creature, which seemed to be the legendary Yeti, and which the Tibetans gave what name?
Chimo.
Yes. What's the name of the shattered glacier tongue, a spur off the western Coombe on Everest, that took Messner and Harbler more than a week to climb because it was much more broken up than usual?
The North Col.
No, Kumbu Icefall. What's the name of the plane in which Messner was flown over Everest to see whether he could function at that height without an oxygen mask before attempting the climb?
Pilates. Sorry. It's the Peloton. It's gone.
No, Pilatus Porter. While climbing in Switzerland in 1974, Messner and Harbler met and famously posed for a photograph with Clint Eastwood, who at the time was making what film?
The Eiger Sanction.
Yes, in 1966, Messner earned money to pay for his climbing activities by enrolling as a supply teacher at a new secondary school in which town in South Tyrol?
Eppen.
Yes, among several of his Guinness World Records, in July 1979, Messner became the first person to have climbed both Everest and which other mountain without supplementary oxygen?
Nanga Parbat.
No, K2. Messner successfully ran for the European Parliament in 1999 on the Green Party list. What was the name of his friend, the South Tyrol opposition politician of whom Messner had been a prominent supporter and who'd been elected as a Green MEP 10 years earlier?
Alexander Langer.
Yes, Messner has said that during his time as an MEP, I've studied so I'll finish, said during his time as an MEP he was an active supporter of the project for which tunnel through the Alps?
Brennan.
No.
Pass.
It's the Brenner Base Tunnel.
Thank you.
And Marianne, at the end of that round, no passes, you've got 6 points.
Thank you very much.
And our final contender, please. Your name,
Emma Carter-Brown,
your occupation,
Higher Education Manager.
and your specialist subject.
Emily Brontë,
The 19th century writer best known for her only novel, Wuthering Heights, which is considered a classic of English literature. In 2 minutes, let's go. When Emily Brontë was born, her parents gave her what middle name, which her older sister Charlotte would later use for the title character of one of her novels?
Jane.
Yes, during the 1820s, Emily began lessons on what musical instrument which she would go on to play and collect music for throughout her life.
Piano.
Yes, Emily's mother, Maria, died in 1821, the same year that all 6 of the Brontë children suffered from what infectious disease?
Measles.
No, scarlet fever. In 1824, Brontë was sent to the clergy daughters' school at Cowan Bridge, where the school's entrance book for that year records that she was preparing to follow what specific occupation?
Governess.
Yes, as a child, Brontë would sometimes sew and embroider samplers, including one completed on the 1st of March, 1829, that features a quotation from which numbered psalm from the Bible?
23.
No, 145. Wuthering Heights was first published in 1847 under the pseudonym Ellis Bell by which London publisher based in Mortimer Street?
Thomas Courtney Newby.
Yes, what's the surname of the initial narrator of Wuthering Heights who rents a property from Heathcliff?
Lockwood.
Yes, which of the 21 poems by Brontë published during her lifetime opens with the lines, the linnet in the rocky dells, the moorlark in the air, the bee among the heather bells that hide my lady fair?
Cold, Clear and Blue.
No, song. What nickname did Emily acquire around 1839, possibly because of the way she defended Charlotte's friend, Ellen Nussey, from the attentions of a new curate named William Waitman, who was a regular visitor at Haworth Parsonage?
The Major.
Yes, which publication reviewed Wuthering Heights in 1848 and noted that the hardness, selfishness and cruelty of Heathcliff are, in our opinion, inconsistent with the romantic love that he is stated to have felt for Catherine Earnshaw?
Atlas.
No, The Examiner, the ruthless heroine of a number of Bronté's poems set on a fictional North Pacific island called Gondal, is often referred to by the initials AGA, which stand for Augusta Geraldine Watts.
Almeida.
It is Almeida. Emma, at the end of that round, no passes, you've got 7 points. So at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 4 points is Chris. In 3rd place with 6 points sits Marianne. In joint 1st place with 7 points, it's Phil and Emma. So now it's general knowledge. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Chris to join us again, please. Chris, you start with 4 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The national daily newspapers La Repubblica, La Stampa and Corriere della Sera are published in which European country?
Italy.
Yes, which British group had their first UK top 10 single in 1983 with The Love Cats?
The Cure.
Yes. What name is given to the small mallet used by an auctioneer to confirm a sale?
A gavel.
Yes, which Greek mathematician who lived in the 3rd century BC is credited with devising the formula for measuring the surface area and volume of a sphere?
Euclid.
No, Archimedes. In October 2023, the Republican politician Mike Johnson succeeded Kevin McCarthy in what role in the US House of Representatives?
Speaker.
Yes. What 1969 film based on a stage musical of the same title was directed by Gene Kelly and starred Barbara Streisand and Walter Matthau?
Pass.
In 2007, which London railway station replaced Waterloo as the terminus for Eurostar trains travelling to and from Belgium, France and the Netherlands?
Houston.
No, St. Pancras. Which British actor, author, filmmaker and peer wrote the screenplays for several television dramas, including Downton Abbey, Dr. Thorne and The Gilded Age?
Julian Fellows?
Yes, the German language poem And die Freude, written by Friedrich Schiller in 1785, is usually known in English by what title?
The Bellflower.
No, Ode to Joy. Which city is the national capital of Australia?
Canberra.
Yes, what word meaning powerful or prevailing is used in genetics as the opposite of the term recessive when comparing the likelihood of a certain trait being inherited by offspring?
Pass.
After a campaign led by the writer and activist Caroline Criado Perez, a statue of the suffragist Millicent Fawcett was unveiled in 2018 in which London square?
Trafalgar?
No, Parliament Square. The two main branches of Islam are Sunni and which other?
Pass.
In 1997, which American golfer at the age of just 21 became the youngest winner of the US Masters tournament?
Tiger Woods.
Yes, what three-dimensional geometric shape is the glass and steel structure that serves as the main entrance to the Louvre Gallery in Paris?
A pyramid?
It is pyramid. Chris, you had 3 passes. The two main branches of Islam are Sunni and Shia. The word meaning powerful or prevailing, used in genetics as the opposite of the term recessive, is dominant. And Hello, Dolly is the 1969 film based on the stage musical of the same title. You knew that? 3 passes, 12 points.
Thank you.
Next up, let's have Marianne again, please. Marianne, you start with 6 points. The score to beat as it stands is 12 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In the name of an academic qualification, the letters BSc stand for Bachelor of what?
Science.
Yes, the M8 motorway links Greenock, west of Glasgow, to which city in the east of Scotland?
Edinburgh.
Yes, the late 15th century portrait of Cecilia Gallerani, entitled Lady with an Ermine, is attributed to which Renaissance painter?
Caravaggio.
No, Leonardo da Vinci. For many years, a pub called the Woolpack has been at the centre of village life in what long-running British television soap?
Emmerdale.
Yes, what former church building in Paris is dedicated to great French citizens and houses the remains of many historic figures, including Voltaire, Victor Hugo and Marie Curie?
Sacré-Cœur.
No, the Pantheon. In a World Cup qualifying match in September 2023, which Brazilian footballer passed Pelé's record total of 77 goals for his country in the men's game?
Johnny Footballer.
No, Neymar. What word follows water, field and bank in the names of 3 species of rodent native to Britain?
Vole.
Yes, which American singer and pianist had UK hit singles in the 1950s and 60s entitled Oh Carol, Calendar Girl and Breaking Up is Hard to Do?
Neil Sedaka.
Yes, what name meaning relating to the hip is given to the major nerve in the human body that extends from the lower end of the spine down the back of the thigh to the knee?
Femoral.
No, sciatic nerve. What 1995 crime drama film, directed by Michael Mann, features the first on-screen in-character meeting of the actors Al Pacino and Robert De Niro?
Heat.
Yes, which metallic chemical element is sometimes known as quicksilver?
Oh, gosh. Magnesium.
No, mercury. The heiress Rachel Verinda and her cousin Franklin Blake are 2 of the main characters in what 19th century detective novel by Wilkie Collins?
The Woman in White.
No, the moonstone, the SI unit of work or energy, symbolised by an uppercase letter J, is named after which British physicist?
Joule.
Yes, the mandolin is a musical instrument in the lute family, usually having how many pairs of strings?
4.
Yes, the American Declaration of Independence refers to certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of what?
Happiness.
Yes, Sir Nicholas Soames, who served as a Conservative MP from 1983 to 2019, is a grandson of which UK Prime Minister?
Winston Churchill.
Yes, the Swiss entertainer Charles Adrian Vettac, born in 1880, who became known as the King of Clowns, performed under what name?
Grimaldi.
No, it's Grok. Marianne, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 16 points.
Thank you very much.
Next up, it's Phil. Phil, you start with 7 points. The score to beat as it stands is 16 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The hypothetical creature said to have existed between our ape-like ancestors and modern humans is popularly known as the missing what?
Link.
Yes, the mazurka, the mambo and the turkey trot are all types of what leisure activity?
Dance.
Yes. What adjective describing something that exists below ground is derived from Latin words for beneath and earth?
Subterranean.
Yes. In the periodic table, the rows are called periods. What name is correspondingly used for the columns?
Groups.
Yes. Which Irish singer, who died in 2023, had UK hit albums in the 1990s entitled I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got and Am I Not Your Girl?
Sinead O'Connor.
Yes. The national flags of Greece and Finland are both white and which primary colour?
Blue.
Yes, the short play One for the Road, premiered in 1984, about the interrogation of a family living in a police state, was written by which British dramatist?
Tom Stoppard.
No, Harold Pinter. What Italian soft cheese, originally from the Lombardy region and similar to ricotta, is a standard ingredient in the dessert tiramisu?
Mascarpone.
Yes, Orlando Magic, Utah Jazz and Dallas Mavericks are American professional teams in which sport?
Basketball.
Yes, when she was presented with the prestigious BAFTA Fellowship in 2023, Sandy Powell became the first person to win the award for achievements in what field of filmmaking?
Screenwriting.
No, costume design. The civil rights activist Stokely Carmichael, the cricketer Brian Lara and the singer Billy Ocean were all born on which island in the Caribbean Sea?
Trinidad.
Yes, in imperial measurements, there are how many inches in a yard?
30.
No, 36. Which filmmaker directed the 1974 comic western Blazing Saddles and the 1977 Alfred Hitchcock spoof High Anxiety?
Mel Brooks.
Yes. What was the surname of the well-known author and academic born in Belfast in 1898, whose forenames were Clive Staples?
Rutherford.
No, Lewis, in the name of the authority known as the FCA, set up in 2013 to regulate the financial services industry. In the UK, the letter C stands for what word?
Conduct.
Yes. Which British broadcaster began his television career in satirical programmes such as That Was the Week That Was, but later became known as a serious journalist and interviewed world leaders such as Richard Nixon?
David Frost.
Yes, since its creation in the 17th century, the title Duke of Devonshire has been held by a family with what surname?
Cavendish.
Yes, what name is given in architecture? I've studied so I'll finish. What name is given in architecture to the wedge-shaped centre stone at the crown of an arch, which locks the structure into position?
Keystone.
It is the keystone. So, Phil, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 21 points.
Thank you.
And finally, let's have Emma again, please. So, Emma, you start with 7 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Phil's 21 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The puddings made from a batter of eggs, flour and milk or water, which are traditionally served as part of a Sunday roast, are named after which historic English county?
Yorkshire.
Yes, what word meaning to destroy a large number of something is derived from a Latin term meaning, more specifically, to reduce something by 1/10?
Decimate.
Yes, which actor received an Oscar nomination for his performance as Rhett Butler in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind?
Clark Gable.
Yes, the yellow properties on a standard London Monopoly board are Leicester Square, Piccadilly and which other property?
Marylebone.
No, Coventry Street. Which narrative poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, first published in 1854, includes the lines, "Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die"?
The Charge of the Light Brigade.
Yes, the Colombian-born actress Sofia Vergara was nominated for 4 Golden Globes and 4 Primetime Emmys for her role as Gloria in what American television sitcom?
Modern Family.
Yes, in the early 1980s, Michael Foot was the leader of which UK political party?
The Labour Party.
Yes, Hayward Field in the city of Eugene, which was the venue for the 2022 World Athletics Championships, is in which US state?
Ohio.
No, Oregon, in the abbreviated name ENO for the Performing Arts Organisation founded in London. The letter O stands for what word?
Opera.
Yes, the peace accords that resulted in independence for Algeria are named after which French spa town where they were signed in 1962?
Nice.
No, Evian-les-Bains. The American $1 banknote bears a portrait of which US president?
George Washington.
Yes, in international Morse code, which consonant is represented by 3 dots?
S.
Yes, between 2012 and 2016, which British singer had UK #1 albums entitled Take the Crown, Swings Both Ways and The Heavy Entertainment Show?
George Ezra.
No, Robbie Williams. Which Pacific island, part of the Society Islands archipelago, is the largest by area in French Polynesia?
Tobago.
No, Tahiti. The name of what very short, cropped hairstyle is derived from its adoption by American rowing teams at Ivy League universities such as Harvard and Princeton in the 1930s?
Bob.
No, crew cut. What Hebrew term, often translated as so be it, is commonly spoken in various religions at the end of a prayer?
Amen.
Yes, which stately home in Hertfordshire, built in the early 17th century by Robert Cecil, is the home of the Marquess of Salisbury?
Blenheim Palace.
No, it's Hatfield House. Emma, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 17 points. So, let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 12 points, it's Chris. In 3rd place with 16 points is Marianne. In 2nd place with 17 points, it's Emma, which means in 1st place with 21 points, it's Phil. So he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. If you'd like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
When I sat in the black chair for the first time, I was nervous, and then as soon as Clive started asking questions, I kind of settled into go mode, and luckily it all went well.
And your specialist subject?
A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. I chose A Song of Ice and Fire because I'm a big fan of the books, and it's something that I thought if I'm going to sit down and read lots of something for a few months, I want it to be something I enjoy.
In joint 1st place with 7 points, it's Phil and Emma.
Emma was on the same number of points after the specialist subject. I thought she did really well, and I'm actually quite glad I went first on general knowledge. There was no pressure on me. I just had to score well. Subterranean.
Yes.
Mascarpone.
Yes.
Keystone.
It is the Keystone.
Me and my wife watch every week, often saying, oh, I could do better than that. And so she challenged me to come on, and here I am.